ordered months ago and delivered to my doorstep just a few days ago, just in time for the Season 2 of The Mandalorian. For today's build, we have the Razor Crest. This is kit number 75292, has 1,023 pieces, and if you don't have your hands on this kit already, you're probably not going to find her under the same name because it has been changed due to a copyright issue. It's now known as the Mandalorian Bounty Hunter Transport, nowhere near as catchy a name as the Razor Crest. So, if you do happen to have this box, I suggest you hang on to it because it could become a collectible item one day. And before I pack my box away nice and safe, let's open it up, see what we have inside, so I can get this build underway. With Season 2 of The Mandalorian being only a week and a half away from the release of this video, I've been itching for more Mando content, and this kit has helped me scratch some of that itch. Personally, I found a lot of the appeal to this ship to be rooted in the same stuff that draws me into the Millennium Falcon. While it's definitely not as cool, there's no denying it, it is a small ship, not run by a big organization, so not very well funded, has its own little issues, some glitches, some things that don't work so well, and it's also home to its occupants. Head on, I find the ship looks a little bit intimidating, a little bit aggressive. With its two main engines flanked on either side up high, looking a little bit aggressive. The pilot sitting in his cockpit high off the ground, looking down at whoever's in front of him. And these two main cannons stuck to either side of the ship, pointing directly forward, ready to engage whenever Mando sees the need. Along the left side of the ship, we have these three panels that open up, a large one in the back, exposing a pretty much empty cargo hold, the center one being the side door, and the final compartment in the front, revealing storage for your ammunition. Flipping it around to the right side, we find three very similar panels, again with the large one in the back opening up, revealing this time a mostly empty cargo hold, the one beside it being the little side entrance, and all the way in front, we have Mando's sleeping quarters, where he can rest peacefully because his cargo, tucked away here and here, are two of his bounties, frozen in carbonite and clearly not going to cause any trouble. Coming around to the back, we have the cargo bay door, which folds down, making a nice ramp to get in and out, because this is how Mando gets his cargo in and out, not from the side, because that's just for our play action. Over on the top of the ship, right in the very front, of course, we have the cockpit. By removing the cockpit cover, we see that there's seating for 2, or 3 if you count Baby Yoda, just kind of nestled in his lap there. And just behind that, the back end of the cockpit area flips up, revealing the place that Mando and one other can store their weapon. A nice feature that we don't have in a lot of ships, so I really appreciate having it here because often I'm not sure where to put their weapons once they're seated. Just behind the cockpit, tucked nicely into the back of the ship, we have the escape pod, which can easily be pulled out, adding some more elements to your playtime fun. The escape pod itself is a pretty tiny little vessel, not that much bigger than a minifigure. As you can see once you open it up, there's barely even room for a minifigure in here. But still, that's all you need to escape the ship. And finally, the ship comes equipped with 2 standard spring-mounted launchers, which have been nicely camouflaged inside the wing design. To launch these projectiles, all you need to do is press down on these nicely hidden little triggers. And now to the minifigures, where we have the Mandalorian, Baby Yoda, or the Child, who by the way, for reference, his body is about the size of a 1x1 brick, Grave Karga, a Scout Trooper, and the droid IG-11. I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed in the Mandalorian minifigure. This is the same one they released months ago with the AT-ST kit. And at that time, the show was brand new, he had his old armor, and we didn't know his face. But this kit has been hauled back and released just in time for Season 2. At this point, he should have his new armor, and we've seen his face, so why do we still have a blank? As to the ship, I have a few issues as well. But first, I gotta say, for about 1,000 pieces, I really don't think they could have done much better. But there's a bunch of the ship that I find to be a little underdeveloped. The whole back end is kind of plain, not much going on. There is a little more detail in the actual ship, so a little more would have been nice here. And, of course, the cargo hold. It's pretty much empty. There was a lot of opportunity here to put more features, more something in here to make a little more added value. But they decided to keep this kit to 1,000 pieces, so that kind of limited them a little bit. I think if they'd released this as a 1,500 or 2,000 piece set, they could have done a whole lot more with this. As it is, I find this set to be okay for display. From the right angles in the front, it looks pretty good, but along the side and back, it's kind of plain and boring. So if you want to display this one, you gotta pick your angles just right. As a play kit, I think this kit does pretty well. It's definitely fun to play with, easy to grab onto, all the panels that open up give you a lot of options of what you could do inside, and then we have the escape pod and the projectiles, just plain good fun. And as far as pieces to reuse from this kit also gets a decent score. Nothing too special in here, 1,000 pieces is always of course great, you get that nice cockpit glass in the front which is a unique piece, and there's some other decently large pieces here which are of course very nice to reuse for future projects. So in conclusion, I find this kit to be just fair as a display piece. It's pretty good as a play kit, and the parts are not bad for reusing. But what I think the biggest draw to this kit is going to be is the Baby Yoda. Because so far, this is the only place you can get him, and he's goddamn cute, and there's a lot of demand for him. So you need to decide for yourself, does this kit have enough appeal on its own over the very many other great sets to choose from, or is this Baby Yoda worth the price?